sold the product as 900 per litre. Following this announcement, the marketers said the filling stations changing prices might have got new supplies at the latest prices, adding that everything will be clear this week. Let's move over to the north where BUS Cement PLC is flagged off a 6-month intensive vocational training, a program for sister youth from Bamako local government area, Sokoto State, and a major boost to youth empowerment and local capacity building. The initiative is aimed for young men and women from the company's host communities and also focused on training participants in the operation of heavy-duty earth-moving equipment, highly sought after skill in the cement mining and construction sectors. The managing director of BUS Cement, Yusuf Binji, represented by Bashir Ramino, while speaking at the official launch, said the training was designed to tackle the persistent challenge of skills shortage among local job seekers. He also noted that to support the participants throughout the program, BUS Cement will provide each trainee with a monthly stipend of 150,000, underscoring the company's commitment to both skill acquisition and welfare. However, the company's director of human resources, Abdul Rashid Budi, was also spotted at the event, and he urged the beneficiaries to demonstrate discipline, dedication, and drive during the training. Job well done there. Now let's move away from Sokoto State. At this minute, the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Julari, has called for a coordinated strategic approach to make Nigeria's energy sector more attractive to global investors, stating that Nigeria needs a bankable case for energy investment. Speaking at the 2025 Society of Petroleum Engineers International Conference in Lagos State, Bayo Julari emphasized the urgent need for Nigeria to present a compelling and credible case to compete for global capital, especially sustainability and ESG, the environmental, social, and governance criteria, as it is increasingly influencing investment decisions. Furthermore, Bayo Julari remark comes at a time when Nigeria, like many African nations, faces mounting pressure to balance energy access, environmental sustainability, and economic development, all while navigating complex global energy transitions. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Emomotimi Akama, has now raised concern over the growing number of suspicious cryptocurrency transactions in West Africa. To bring you more updates on this news, please stay with us. We'll be right back. Apologies for that inconvenience. Now let's tell you that the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Emomotimi Agama, has now raised concern over the growing number of suspicious cryptocurrency transactions in West Africa, revealing that GEBA reported at about $2.1 billion in such transactions across the region in 2024. While delivering his remark at the West African Compliance Summit organized by GEBA in Cape Verde recently, Emomotimi Agama noted that while virtual asset adoption is expanding rapidly, it has also attracted malicious actors. He said DeFi rug pulls continue to defraud unsuspecting users. Gaber reported $2.1 billion in suspicious crypto-linked transactions in West Africa in 2024, with terror groups exploiting privacy coins to evade detection. According to him, artificial crashes are unregistered exchanges absconded with funds and inadequate oversight have resulted in significant losses for investors, adding regulation therefore is not optional but an imperative one. Motimi also stated that the SEC was intensifying efforts to monitor activities in the digital asset space, stressing the need for regional cooperation to close loopholes exploited by criminals. He further noted that Nigeria plans to deploy AI surveillance tools for blockchain analysis to trace illegal activity while ensuring consumer protection. And before we go, let's tell you that the banking industry, where a bank now deposits with the Central Bank of Nigeria, rose sharply by 783.7% year-on-year to 79.8 trillion naira in the first 7 months of the year, from 9.0 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2024, indicating excess liquidity in the banking system. Following this update, CBN has 2 short-term lending windows for banks, namely the standing lending facility and repurchase lending, where it lends money to banks through the SLF at an interest rate of 500 basis points above the monetary policy rate, and also lends money to banks through a repo arrangement, which involves the purchase of banks securities with the agreement to sell back at a specific date and usually for a higher price. On the other hand, the Apex Bank accepts deposits from banks through a standing deposit facility and pays an interest rate of MPR minus 100 basis points. And the trend analysis also showed that bank deposits in SCF surged by 158.4% quarter-on-quarter to 49.68 trillion in the second quarter of 2025, from 19.22 trillion in the first quarter of 2025. In July now, bank deposited 10.9 trillion, down by 29.2% from 15.4 trillion naira in the month of June 2025. And now it's a wrap on ConsumerHallaTV news as well. Thank you so much for staying with us at the midday news. Please stay with us for more news updates and frequent ads.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our ConsumerHalla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
Alright, my name is Corey Depitas. and I am a product manager. So this is a very innovative idea, and first off, everybody is a consumer, and so this is the voice of the consumer, and this is a voice that is going to be heard. For the first time, the consumers in this country are going to be able to express their ideas and to get to know your rights, to know what belongs to you. And it's going to change a lot of branding. It's going to change a lot of things, because everybody knows that we're not just getting things out for the consumers. The consumers have a right to accept. You know, as they say, the customer is always right. So the customer is the consumer, and the consumer is always right. So, you know, when there is control, when there is feedback, there is bound to be change. So so I said, I'm a product manager. When you develop products, sometimes you believe you know what the users want, and through different kinds of surveys. But when the users actually get the product, they can tell you their mind, how the product is, their feeling about the product. So it's good to definitely change how products are being designed, how services are being given to people, because you can get a feedback, and that feedback can make or mar a company, you know, and everybody wants to have good feedback. So it's definitely going to change the behavior of people that make products. One very good thing is information. Information is power. So the consumer is going to get way more powerful. The voice of the consumer will be heard, the opinions of the consumers will be heard, and that opinion will shape how products and services will be made in this country going forward. Be on the lookout. You are now in charge. Several things coming your way through this station. I'm very excited about it. The things he's already brought out, and there will be many more things. But the bottom line, the consumer is now in the driver's seat. So ConsumerHallaTV, thank you for this innovative work. You're going to keep evolving, and just follow the consumers. The consumers will lead you to what they want, and that's how it's supposed to be, always. They're going to have different types of consumers, and they're going to pander to the different needs, but you are going to be making consumers very, very powerful. So thumbs up, keep up the good work. My name is Korede Peters. Thank you very much.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our Consumer Halla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
My name is Tunde Olufowora, and I'm the CEO of Van Eyck Communications. We are the we call the publisher or the owner of the new initiative called ConsumerHallaTV. ConsumerHallaTV is actually Nigeria's first consumer-centered, or call it consumer-centric television platform that aims to bring voice to the over 220 million Nigerians. It was a vision that came to my heart about 10 years ago. I remember that I was traveling. I traveled the country, on airline, and I had this unpleasant experience. It was a trip to an African country from Nigeria, and I actually went with a local flight from Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the airline, and then it was to South Africa, and we landed in South Africa, and let me just paraphrase it. When I was coming back, I had some money, some dollars, and that someone had given to me to hand over to another person in Nigeria. So I wanted to help out. I didn't want to carry the cash on myself. So for whatever reason, I opted to. I had a small case, and I felt that it was safer for me to put the money in my luggage. So I put it in a safe place in my luggage, got everything intact, and I checked in my luggage. My arrival in Nigeria, I was standing and was waiting by the carousel just so that I could pick up my luggage, and then I was there for 1 hour and waiting for my luggage. I didn't know that my luggage already arrived, and it was one of the luggage that was moving around on the carousel. So after about 1 hour wait, I looked to my left and my right. Almost everybody had gone. I think there were just about 2 or 3 left. So I beckoned on the woman that was on my side, and I noticed she was really in tears. Madam, what happened? She said, her bag has just been torn and a lot of things stolen. So I said, well, I've also been waiting for my own. She said, you better go and check those luggages there. Maybe yours is one of them. And lo and behold, I went around there. Mine was one of them. By the time I got it, everything inside my luggage was gone. All the valuable things there were gone. To cut the long story short, we felt there was need for us to report the case, at least to the airline. It was in the night, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We went in to go and see the officer that was in charge. As soon as we got in there, the officer said, "Oh, so sorry, but you will have to go to our head office in somewhere in Victoria Island, to lodge a complaint." Okay. So the next day we went to the Victoria Island and we lodged a complaint, and that was it. And since that day, I'm talking a story of over 10 years ago, I didn't get a call, not even a call from that airline to talk to me about what happened to my luggage. Now, about a month after that trip, I had another opportunity to travel out of the country. This time around it was to US, and it was an official assignment. And I flew on, I will mention the airline this time around. I flew on a BA. I really didn't like BA. I usually go with Virgin Atlantic and things like that. But my protocol officer convinced me and said, "Okay, you will love BA. Why don't you go on BA?" Anyway, so I went on BA to US. And of course, on our return from US to Nigeria, we had to do, of course, there'll be like a connecting flight, from Heathrow. So we got into London Heathrow, and then because it was through Heathrow that we went, and then so they changed the since it was BA, they changed the aircraft. This time around to a bigger one. More people that were planning to come to Nigeria. And then we boarded. Not quite 10 minutes into the flight, in the air, the aircraft started malfunctioning. The air conditioning compartment were not functioning very well. I was on what you call business economy. The whole of that business economy all the way to economy side, the ACs were not working well. It was hot. And then I was watching. And then from that moment till we got to Nigeria. From that moment till we got to, I'm just trying to paraphrase. From that moment till we got to Nigeria, I could remember very well how many times the pilot, broke into conversation and had to apologize and say, we're really very sorry about this. He was giving us almost every 30 minutes. There's always a kind of update. So sorry, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing. While we were on that journey, I also remember an incident. So they came, the crew apparently couldn't resolve it. They couldn't manage the crisis or what was going on about it. They couldn't fix it. So they come up and said, we're so sorry, but for all the inconvenience, we're declaring, free lunch, free whatever it is you want, you can get. So trust Nigerians, you need to hear how everybody was jubilating, But something struck me. The experience I had just about a month before, and this experience, somehow I started comparing them. I was trying to see how this matter will be managed. Again, to cut the story short, we landed in Nigeria on a BA. Before we landed, the pilot announced and said that for the inconvenience, they will be giving a voucher of £50 to everyone that flew on that aircraft. I thought it was a joke. It was my first time with BA, but for what I knew or know of the British man, a British man would never even play with his 1 penny, talking of £1. So I felt that must be a joke of the year. So we left. I got back to my office. I think it was just about a week after. Our guys in our mail room came up and said, "Oh, you have a parcel." So I said, "Parcel? Yeah." So they bought this parcel, wrapped. I opened it, and boom, I bought the document out. It was the £50 voucher from BA. So what's the tenor of this story? An experience with one airline was terrible, no apology. An experience with another one, even though it was a bad experience, but it was very well managed. So managed that even if we have suffered anything in that aircraft, you probably, for the sake of how they manage it, will have forgiven them. So that was how this journey started. So I started thinking, my mind, this is what we go through in this country. But are we different from other nations? So God put in my heart the idea of ConsumerHalla. That's why the Hala came with consumer. And we started that journey about 10 years ago. We started by creating a platform called ConsumerHalla, where consumers, so I discovered that Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. So things happen, and that's it. We live with everything. So we've started the journey from creating the platform. We have an app, we even have a magazine, and we thought we could move it from that to the next stage, which is the television. So the TV today, has come, line upon line, we have been able to build on our aspiration, to finally bring to birth this unique and exciting platform, So it's a digital telecast.
another beautiful episode of Scam Alert. And here on Scam Alert, we talk everything about vigilance, awareness, and also interesting topics that will keep us informed and aware of our surroundings and how we can effectively get away from scams in Nigeria. As we all know, Nigeria is the place where it's the hustle and bustle is very prominent. And here in Lagos State, where ConsumerHallaTV resides, is a home for a lot of people, different type of people that are looking for money legitimately, and also the ones that are looking for money the illegitimate way, just for them to have something to feed on and also hurt people like them. And that is why we bring to you the beautiful program called Scam Alert, where we talk about things that will help us stay vigilant and also aware of our surroundings. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful episode of Scam Alert, and I am Kikelemo Ajibola. If you're just joining us, welcome, and if you are been watching Scam Alert before, thank you so much for sticking through with us. And I know, I'm very sure that you all have learned one or two from the program, just as I have learned one or two from the program. And I always say nobody is an island of knowledge. Nobody is above getting scammed. We just need to keep ourselves informed and also try as much as possible to get away from this set of people. Scammers are always looking for new ways, to get under our skin, to cut away with our money, valuables, and they will not rest. Even though scam has been something that has been prominent and has been in existence from years back till today, it is still very relevant. And that is why Scam Alert is here for you, to keep you informed and abreast of what is going on in your society, in our society, because I'm part of this society. Now today, I am very excited for the topic we're discussing about today, because it is something that is going on and very common. And I stumbled upon a particular page on my FYP recently on TikTok talking about this particular man that uses transport, the private transportation sector, which is the Uber, the InDrive, the Bolt, and other ones, where drivers go there to do whatever they want to do and get passengers and also get commission, just like the app will get his commission. And this particular man, they've been talking about this man for quite a while now, since like 2021, if I can remember, from the first time that we got an hint that this man is somebody that is very dangerous, and we need to get him out of the street and keep people aware of what this man has been doing to his victims, especially female victims, because most of the victims that come out to talk, they are mostly females, although there are some men that have been reported that he has also done this too, from sexual molestation to getting away with their goods, money, to threatening them of selling their body parts and taking them to somewhere that is going to sell their body parts for like 5 million naira. It's a lot of a crazy story out there when it comes to this particular man. And I think he was out for a while when he saw that there was a lot of topic surrounding his Uber business. But now it is I'm not saying Uber, so let's just say private cars. So I think everybody call it Uber in Nigeria, even though it's Bolt, InDrive, most people call it Uber. So I think that's why I'm saying Uber business. So this particular person works with the private transportation sector in Nigeria, be it InDrive. It can be found on Bolt, it can be found on Uber, on any other ones that you can actually think of, is everywhere. And that's where sensitization is really important. The private transportation sector really needs to do something about sensitization, because not today we hear issues about kidnapping, about robbery, when you are trying to just get to where you are going to comfortably. So I think that is one of it, and that is why the program today that we're talking about is one chance issues, and this is a scam issue. Yeah, I know it can be quite say, why are you bringing it under Scam Alert? Obviously it's scam because it deals with a lot of things, human life, human value, people's valuables, people's money, phone, even lives. get lost in this particular issue. And there's been a trend these days that people come online to talk about, oh, I entered a one chance today, this person carried me somewhere. In fact, there was a particular story that really got stuck with me this particular week. A lady said she was going to around I think Idumota side, and then she boarded a Korokwe, and I think Korokwe is the new tactics now. So she said she entered the Korokwe, and once she entered the Korokwe, she noticed that the person, oh, she was going to Korodu, sorry, not Idumota, she was going to Korodu. So she said that once she entered the Korokwe, the man just said, oh, let's just go, there's no passenger, blah blah blah. Once you see that, that's a big red flag, because I know Nigerian bus driver will not move even if it's just one passenger left. So someone that wants to carry you alone, it's a big red flag. If you're not comfortable, I don't think you should be comfortable with something like that. Please alight from that bus and get another one to board. That's the thing. So she boarded the Korokwe, and then the Korokwe took her under the bridge of Oshodi, and then started onto the road leading to Otedala Bridge here, leading to Ibadan Expressway, and started threatening her in the car, saying, oh, give me your phone, give me your money, transfer your phone. I think nowadays we just need to do it with our bank app, because once they see a bank app on your phone, trust me, all your money is gone. So I think she said she had like a lot of money, because she wanted to go and give. She wanted to go and do a delivery in Ikorodu. This man slapped her, as they were driving on ice, because it was early in the morning. So if you're going out early in the morning, please be careful. Even though you're going out in the afternoon, be careful. Even if you're going out in the night, especially when it is dark of the day, early in the morning, in the night, please be very, very careful of these people. Be wary of any bus you are entering into. So as I was saying with my story, so she went, the man kept on eating her, give me your money, give me your this, give me your that, So she begged the man that, please, what am I going to do? This is my source of livelihood. This phone is what I use to snap picture for this and that. So it took pity on her a little bit, when she was talking, when he dropped her off. She was like, please, my bag, I don't have anyone to go home, I don't have anybody to call. So he threw her phone and like threw 1,000 naira back to her and said, okay, you are a bad luck, so go get out and stuff like that. So she had to leave, and then she came on social media to actually give account of her story and what's going on. And I always say something in the comment section: why exactly do you think somebody is lying? Like, nobody would want such to happen to them. So especially people that are sensitive, because like we always say, what you cough with yourself is what's gonna happen to you, and the words of your mouth is very, very sensitive. And this is not the first time people are coming out to actually talk about issues like this. And this issue was really, and you could see from her voice that she was really, really shaking. And that was when I noticed that she mentioned that it just happened to her that morning, and she was like, okay, let me quickly come and share this online so that I can know what is so that people can understand that these people are back in operation. And this is how it is. Today on the show, we'll be sharing stories that I've had, and also how best we can prevent being in a one chance. Nobody's a perfectionist. Prevention is just better than cure. We'll be talking about the steps we can take to actually prevent ourselves from losing our lives if we've gotten to that point of already entering the car, from losing our life, and also from not entering a one chance. There's another one that I came across. I think this one chance now is not a recent trend. A lady in Ibadan, it's not only in Lagos now, so in Ibadan, everywhere in Nigeria it happens. Even in Abuja, it is also something that is quite a common occurrence these days. So this particular girl also said that she was even doing a video. People that do vlogs, it's always good to sometimes do vlogs so that you can catch some things unintentionally. So she was doing a vlog, and then she entered a mikra in Ibadan. If you're familiar with Ibadan, there's what we call mikra. So she entered a mikra, and when she entered the mikra, she heard them talking about money. That's another strategy. She then talking about money in dollars. I think almost 10,000 or 15,000 US dollars for common, like people that are not like, you're entering a micro and somebody's talking about 15,000, like, oh, $15,000. Can you follow us to go and change it? Please run. No, that's a scam. Once you answer them, you follow them, allegedly, it is done. That's all you are going to even remember. They will take you to a place that you have to give them your money and every other thing. So this lady, when she entered, she was hearing them saying, oh, $15,000, auntie, they were trying to call her to join into conversation. I think she now picked immediately, and like she just got down and she was cussing at them, and they sped, like they literally just speed off, like they left where she was immediately. And she was like, oh my god, I'm just coming back from the hospital now, and these people, I entered the one chance mikra, blah blah blah, please stay safe. She said she has actually been in a particular situation like that before, that they were talking about money and how a woman also wanted to, change money, and they were saying that it's our boss that owns the money. So whenever they are talking about money in the boss, if you're not comfortable, just alight from the boss, or don't even answer them, don't talk to them, because the driver is involved, everybody is involved. And that was another story that I want to say today on the show. Is actually about storytelling and a little bit of ways where we can actually talk about one chance. I believe one chance is not something that is not it's not a new name in Nigeria. Once you enter a car that is either kidnapping, or they're stealing from you, or they do something harmful to you, then you've actually encountered a one chance people. All right, we will be talking about stories today, and also we'll be looking at preventive ways to best avoid one chance issues in the country. And before we do that, let's go on a short break. When we get back, we'll continue what we were talking about, which is one chance issues in the country.
Right, my name is Peters, and I am a product manager. So this is a very innovative idea, and first off, everybody is a consumer, and so this is the voice of the consumer, and this is the voice that is going to be heard. For the first time, the consumers in this country are going to be able to express their ideas and to get to know your rights, to know what belongs to you. And it's going to change a lot of branding. It's going to change a lot of things, because everybody knows that we're not just getting things out for the consumers. The consumers have a right to accept. As they say, the customer is always right. So the customer is the consumer, and the consumer is always right. So, when there is control, when there is feedback, there is bound to be change. So I said I'm a product manager. When you develop products, sometimes you believe you know what the users want, and through different kinds of surveys. But when the users actually get the product, they can tell you their mind, how the product is, their feeling about the product. So it's good to definitely change how products are being designed, how services are being given to people, because you can get a feedback, and that feedback can make or mar a company, and everybody wants to have good feedback. So it's definitely going to change the behavior of people that make products. One very good thing is information. Information is power. So the consumer is going to get way more powerful. The voice of the consumer will be heard, the opinions of the consumers will be heard, and that opinion will shape how products and services will be made in this country going forward. Be on the lookout. You are now in charge. Several things coming your way through this station. I'm very excited about it. The things he's already brought out, and there will be many more things. But the bottom line, the consumer is now in the driver's seat. So ConsumerHallaTV, thank you for this innovative work. You're going to keep evolving, and just follow the consumers. The consumers will lead you to what they want, and that's how it's supposed to be, always. You're going to have different types of consumers, and you're going to pander to the different needs, but you are going to be making consumers very, very powerful. So thumbs up, keep up the good work. My name is Peters. Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back from that break, and we are here on Scamalat talking about the issues of one chance in Nigeria and how rampant it has become. In the past few weeks, people coming online to share their stories about how they've encountered or been in a situation of one chance in the country, and it doesn't limit itself to public transportations alone. Now, bike riders, which is Okada, as we all know, and also private transportations and the names of Uber, InDrive, Bolt, and the rest of it kind. These are issues that we face on a daily basis as Nigerians, and these are issues that government needs to look into, because it actually deals with human lives, a lot of back and forth between the person and also the one that has been held hostage. People get their valuables taken away from them by force, and also a lot of issues in between that right there. Thank you so much for joining us on Scamalat, and if you're just joining, welcome. You've not really missed anything. As we said, today we'll be talking about one chance, and we'll be sharing stories and how best we can prevent us getting scammed, and also how best we can prevent ourselves from one chance issues. The first prevention for me would be vigilance. When you are in a moving vehicle, or you're in a space that you don't know people, you only know yourself, please keep your phone aside. Don't press your phone. Don't get distracted. Try to survey your surroundings to get to know what is really going on in your surroundings. By picking up one or two things, you can easily spot the red flags here and there. So if you have issues like this, please keep it away with your phone. Don't get distracted. Don't put your AirPod in. Don't put your earpiece in. Avoid all of those things. Get to where you're going too fast. Then you can start listening to your music. Music is not going anywhere. Music is surplus, but your life is one. Your phone is one, even though it is replaceable. But your life is not replaceable. But your phone is replaceable. But it will take a while for some people, for some of us, to be able to replace that phone, because things are very expensive in the market now. Nobody wants to lose my phone worth that kind of money, and then for something that I can easily prevent. So please check your surroundings, and also check the locks of the car. Now let's talk about lock of the car, because this particular private transportation driver that we've been talking about, that is news has been going on the net for more than 3 years now, and the government has not really seen something to do about it. Please, we need to look into that. If the government is watching right here, or you can help us share this information so that it can go around and let people know that this person is out there and he is terrorizing people. I'm talking about sexual molestation, a lot of issues, threatening them that he would use them for ritual. He has killed a lot of people before. He would sell their body parts for 5 million naira. He has a lot of people in the business, a lot of issues like that. Please, this particular man, let's do away and let's avoid this person. And also, when you are entering a car, if a driver is insisting you sit in a particular place, tell him to go, because it is your money. Wherever you want to sit, you can sit there, as long as it's a private transportation, because once it's public transportation, you can sit anywhere. Obviously, one person is not occupying that space yet. So if you're at the back of the car, always look at the lock. Is it central locked? Is it put on child lock? If a car is put on child lock, tell the driver to put it off child lock, so that you can know what you're doing. And for all of us, I always say, oh, please, on your AC, where's your AC not on? Sometimes better for you to put that window down so that you can yell and people can help you, instead of you putting the windows up and the person is already putting the thing in child lock. And if please, yes, there's no place that is convenient for you to sit at better than the driver's owner corner when it comes to a private car, because if the person wants to harm you, you are not directly behind him, and you are not also sitting in the front seat, so he wouldn't be able to really reach you to harm you straightforward. You will have to, you know, bend and every other thing, so you can get yourself out of situations like that easily. And also, let's look at the people that we are meeting in the car. Once your mind is telling you that what are these kind of people, why do they look a certain way, please let's get down from that car. And if you're seeing that some people are already sleeping in the car, almost everybody in the car is sleeping, and you are just entering that car, why exactly are you in that car? Don't get into it, just leave them, let them go. It might be one chance, it might not be one chance, but it is very high that it is one chance if everybody in the car is sleeping except the conductor and the driver. And that's why I said vigilance is very important here. If you are actually going somewhere, let's be vigilant so that you can know the bus stop you're going to and how they would stop at the bus stop. If you see that they're not stopping at all and you are not understanding what's going on, please always know how to use your phone in situations like this. And I think we really need to come and talk about that particular issue. So please, let's be careful out there. Let's know what we are doing. Let's also put ourselves first. If we value our lives, obviously I know all of us value our life. I also value my life. Let's put in this prevention. Also, if you have any other preventions that you think we didn't mention on the show, please write it in the comment section so that we can share it to people, and for everybody that wants to come, that would come later on to watch this particular video, they would see your comment and they will make do with the information. Now let's talk about a particular one that happened at around Mowe Bafo side. It's a woman said that one of her customers came to tell her that she was into one chance car, and they were carrying her to where she didn't know. She kept on shouting. People were already sleeping in the car, but she didn't notice. She got carried away by watching TikTok and all stuff like that. And these are issues that happened. And then when the woman told her, she was like, is this still real? Like, you know, what is doubting Thomas. Sometimes if something doesn't happen to us, we don't actually want to believe it. But trust me, some stories are better left not to want to experience them. Just leave it. Whether the person is just fabricating the whole story or whether it's true, please, I pray that none of us, be a victim of a one chance. So she said, funny enough, in the next 2 weeks she found herself in the same situation. When she entered, she was like, okay, she didn't really even remember. You know, sometimes when you don't take things very important, our brain have a way of filtering messages that we don't take as important. So she entered the car. So it was until she picked up, she was like, why are people sleeping? Why are they calling bus stop and people are not answering? So I think they didn't understand that she was already she wasn't sleeping. So she was like, I'm dropping at Magboro or something. The person was like, oh, so you are not sleeping, you know, like, so like, you are not sleeping, so why are you not sleeping? When she was like, why would I sleep? I'm going to sleep. She kept on, telling them, drop me. She was screaming, and she started beating. And once they see that you are not cooperating with them, trust me, the next thing for them to do is to start eating you. They'll start beating you. So she was like, please let me go, this and that. So they collected everything from the wave on she went to go and buy, from the attachment to the money and everything. They just dropped her. But when I said that she was holding a small phone, they let go of the phone, and that was what they did to her. And when she got home, she narrated the whole story also on TikTok. I'm like, okay, this is getting really rampant. One has come here to come and talk to us about the issue of one chance. One chance has been something that has been very, very common, especially along the Ikeja Oshodi Road some years back. Now it has graduated to almost every part of the country, and we really need to be careful of the transport system we're taking, whether it's Okada. Even people in Ibadan are complaining about Okada riders, and they will carry you and take you to a bush and collect your money. It happened to a friend of mine before in Ilorin, particularly. So the bike man carried her, someone that you've lived all your life, you practically know almost all the road that is leading to your house. So she was like, why are you carrying me? Why are you taking me here? Oh, I'm trying to bypass police people. I know sometimes we want to always, look out for this and say, oh, look, I don't want police to collect money from sometimes. Just when it's like nice time, just let these people pass where where everybody knows you. So he took her to the bush, she was trying to play smart and run away. He dragged her by her hair, beat her like, you know, to cut to the bush, was like, if I want to kill you, I'll kill you here. If I want to sexually molest you, I'll sexually molest you here. He got away with her iPhone, got away with her money. He only left her with her scarf, even took her slippers. I don't know what he wanted to go and do with his slipper, but he took her slippers along with him, and she had to trek. And when she got to where the vigilante where she explained her situations, they were the ones that were able to get her at home. And then the story is really traumatizing even till today. When she thinks about it, she thinks about how she could have lost her life, how what would have happened to her if she wasn't like cooperative enough. If you meet ourselves in such situations, please let's cooperate, and let's just let these people do whatever they want to do, and get their money, and try as much as possible not to really have discussions with these particular people, because if you are not careful, these people are going to hurt you. They don't really care about you. They only want to get your money and get out from there. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. And we just discussed one chance, and one chance is a very critical state that anybody can find themselves in, and we pray that we don't get to find ourselves in such situations. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. And if you are just joining us today, thank you, and spread the word that there is a particular TV station called ConsumerHallaTV where Scamalat is being heard. And this hearing is also a very beautiful one, because we get to talk about issues that actually affect everybody, that cuts across all social classes, and also all age group. We don't talk about only adults here, we talk about children, we talk about the older ones also. We put everybody in view when we bring topics of Scamalat, because anybody can be a victim of Scamalat. Let's all be vigilant. Let's always do away with our phones. Let's not be distracted. And also, when we find ourselves in a situation like this, let's know how to make use of emergency numbers on our phone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's program. And this is ConsumerHallaTV. If you're wondering what this is about, this is the TV station mainly that affiliates itself with consumers alone. We don't look at meddling other people's business. We only talk about consumers here on ConsumerHallaTV, and your voice is our topmost priority. And I used to say our ConsumerHallaTV mobile app 3.0 is coming soon to your mobile app, whether it is Play Store or Apple Play Store, or the Android version. Please know that once it's out there, you can make complaint on any industry sector in Nigeria. You can take survey, give them shout outs, let them know that they are doing amazingly well, and also that if you have any issues regarding any products in Nigeria, you can always lodge your complaint. That the app is beautifully made, and I'm very sure once you hit the market, you would get to find out about it, and I'll be the one to tell you that you actually can download it right now. But trust me, you can actually contact us through our social media platforms on Instagram, ConsumerHallaTV, Facebook at ConsumerHallaTV, Twitter at ConsumerHallaTV, and here on YouTube at ConsumerHallaTV, where subscription is free. Nobody's collecting money from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the program today, and this is where we draw the curtain on Scamalat on ConsumerHallaTV. I'm Kikelemo Ajibola. Thank you so much.
And our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The The world of consumer is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria, all right? So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you. We build it in such a way that we have connection to almost all the organizations, and it's been working. We've resolved several complaints for people without having to charge them any penny, because the idea is not to charge. So what we have done with ConsumerHallaTV is to take it to the next level. So we hope to change the narrative. We want to give the right direction. Nigeria has the largest consumer market in the world, with a population of over 220 million people. Why should we be the one that is suffering the most? Everywhere you turn to, it's as though Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. You're traveling, you buy a ticket. For whatever reason, an airline will wake up middle of the night, delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation. Then while you're there, they can even wake up and say, oh, flight has been cancelled. So everybody carry their luggage and go home. Nothing happened. Of course, things are changing. We must commend government because government is beginning to wake up, but there's still a lot to be done. And we believe that we can help to make, bring about those right changes. So we offer deliberately, part of what we do is that we also offer advocacy, all right? We're not just an advocacy organization, but we offer advocacy. We have a legal team, we have lawyers that are registered on our platform, all right, that can also take up cases, okay? So, and we've taken up many cases like that, and one.
Alright, welcome back to another beautiful episode of Healthy Living on ConsumerHallaTV. And as you all know, when it's time for Healthy Living, you always see my beautiful face on the program. I'm Kikelemo Ajibola. In case you're just joining us for the first time on the program, this is Healthy Living, where we talk about every varieties of health related issues, and on here we try to educate and inform people of what is really going on in the society and how well we can best maintain our health. And like we all know, we always bring our regular face here on the show, but today she will not be joining us for the program. Our nutritionist, Miss Chimininu Olufora. Last week we couldn't bring her. This week also we are not bringing her because there is a beautiful and actually a very informative topic we really need to dive into this morning, and we would need somebody that is specialized in this field. Like we all know, health issues have different doctors, and there are different doctors that attend to these health-related issues, and that is why Miss Tumininu Olufora is taking a back seat, and she will not be joining us for the program. Don't worry, I know you all miss her. I miss her also on the show because she's a very beautiful person and well-read. She knows what she's saying, and she always gives off beautiful information about our nutritional health wise. Today we're bringing to you a very seasoned medical doctor. I came across this person very long time ago actually, and there was a video that this person put up on their page. Like I said, this person has about 195,000 followers on Instagram. This is quite a lot, and it's not easy. You must know what you're saying to have that amount of following on Instagram. And also he's an health educator. He's also a medical doctor, and he's an award-winning health educator. Let me put it out there for everyone. I'm very sure most of us know him from Instagram, and this person is none other than the real Sabi doctor, and his name is Damien Ava, and he's a very intelligent and well-spoken person, which I really appreciate. I came across a video speaking about puberty, to be precise, and when it comes to puberty, we all know when we were all in private secondary school, we all taught puberty is like when you are transitioning from being a child to being an adult, and sometimes you're not actually an adult, you're just transitioning from that to like mid-teenage years. Some people, we all know that puberty for women starts earlier, a little bit earlier than men, than the boys, just like we all know. Then they will say, oh, from age 9 to 14, puberty can start. But then 9 years old didn't really start puberty as at then. It wasn't really something that was quite common. But there were a little bit of instances that this thing has happened, and we all know about that. And for boys, I would say maybe around like 10 to 15, boys start their own puberty. And when it comes to puberty, emotional changes comes in it. Hormonal changes comes in it. We talk about the reproductive aspect of a human being's life, and this is where everything starts to occur, and this is where we know that, okay, you are transitioning to being a big person. This person spoke a little bit about puberty. I'm not a doctor, although I anchor a show called Early Living, and that is why this show is out there. You don't need to be a doctor to want to understand what's really going on in your child's lives, what really happened in your life, because I would like to understand what really happened when I was younger, how puberty started for me. I think Dr. Damien is here already, so I don't know, I don't think he's here, so I'm getting signals that I think is not here yet. So let's go on a short break, and when we get back, we'll bring Dr. Damien on to the show to talk about puberty extensively.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our ConsumerHalla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
Right, my name is Peters and I am a product manager. So this is a very innovative idea, and first off, everybody is a consumer, and so this is the voice of the consumer, and this is a voice that is going to be heard. For the first time, the consumers in this country are going to be able to express their ideas and to get to know your rights, to know what belongs to you. And it's going to change a lot of branding. It's going to change a lot of things, because everybody knows that we're not just getting things out for the consumers. The consumers have a right to accept. You know, as they say, the customer is always right. So the customer is the consumer, and the consumer is always right. So, you know, when there is control, when there is feedback, there is bound to be change. So when, so I said, I'm a product manager. When you develop products, sometimes you believe you know what the users want, and through different kinds of surveys. But when the users actually get the product, they can tell you their mind, how the product is, their feeling about the product. So it's good to definitely change how products are being designed, how services are being given to people, because you can get a feedback, and that feedback can make or mar a company, you know, and everybody wants to have good feedback. So it's definitely going to change the behavior of people that make products. One very good thing is information. Information is power. So the consumer is going to get way more powerful. The voice of the consumer will be heard, the opinions of the consumers will be heard, and that opinion will shape how products and services will be made in this country going forward. Be on the lookout. You are now in charge. Several things coming your way through this station. I'm very excited about it. The things he's already brought out, and there will be many more things. But the bottom line, the consumer is now in the driver's seat. So ConsumerHallaTV, thank you for this innovative work. You're going to keep evolving, and just follow the consumers. The consumers will lead you to what they want. And that's how it's supposed to be, always. They're going to have different types of consumers, and they're going to pander to the different needs. But you are going to be making consumers very, very powerful. So, thumbs up. Keep up the good work. My name is Korede Peters. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to another edition of Healthy Living. Before we went on the break, we're talking a little bit about puberty and how puberty ranges between female and male. We all know that when we're younger, maybe when we're in secondary school, around GS1, GS2, we're taught that puberty is the transitioning from a child to being an adult. But in real time, it's just you still being a teenager, or even you being in your mid-teenage years. Some people, we all know that puberty age range then, as it was given to us, was for a female, maybe around 9 to 14, and for male children, around 10 to 15, which normally most people don't attain puberty at that particular age. We just know that it happened, and everybody starts what we call the menstrual flow. That's where many people think they start their puberty from, which may not be truth. And like I said, we're bringing a seasoned doctor, somebody that knows what puberty really is, and who can help explain this to us extensively, so that we can understand and also get to know how we can help our children. And these days we know that things are very, very different. We all know that life changes, and 2025 is a new year, and I came across a video from this particular doctor, Dr. Damien Ava. Good morning, Dr. Damien Ava. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning. All right, like before we went on the break, we were talking a little bit about puberty, and I told them I'm not a doctor. I just run a program that speaks specifically about health, and it's always good to bring somebody that is that understands this particular issue deeper than us, the consumers. And we all know that you don't need to go to the hospital to get education, and that's why I'm very, very grateful for people like you, health influencers like you, that come on the social media to educate people a little bit better about our health and how well we can best maintain our physical health. And these are things that, yes, we really need, and that's why you actually deserve an applaud from everybody watching your Instagram. if I didn't mention it before, this person has a little over 195,000 followers on Instagram, and I've been following this person for quite a while now. I would listen to him sometimes. I'll be like, okay, what's really going on? And then we'll talk a little bit. I would go to the comment section, also learn from the comment section. And like I always say on the show, please, the internet is not your doctor. If you feel like you have something going on with you, sometimes when you go and search for what is going on with you, you may think, oh, this is what you're having, because you have a lot of similarities with the symptoms that we are seeing online or what somebody's talking about. Always visit the medical hospital so that you can get confirmation of what is really going on with you. But this morning we'll be talking specifically about puberty, because I came across a video on your page talking about puberty, and you were mentioning the fact that puberty, the age range of puberty, how we attain puberty, that we would really need a connection from God, or like maybe you have a connection from somebody. I love that phrase, before you can attain puberty. But now it's very easy. Like the statistics is quite dropping because of how high and how fast children of nowadays attain puberty. But before the video, let's explain or help us buttress a little bit what puberty is, because how we were explained to when we were in secondary school, I don't think that's really what it is.
Okay, thank you for a very wonderful introduction. Thank you also for the commendation as well. Now to the question, what exactly is puberty? Now, the layman out there who may not really have a thorough grasp of the meaning of puberty, it means the development of a brain, or you can say the phase is like a transition phase, which your child, your son or your daughter starts to get to the point where a productive mind. In other words, that's of your probably was just a boy or a child, suddenly is beginning to develop features that they are being sexually. So it's just that phase of sexual maturity where a child or an adolescent is mature. That phase is what we call puberty. And like you rightly mentioned, it's an important phase. It's a phase or the stage of sexual maturation or reproductive capacity. Now, prior to that, the child is just a child, so to speak. Even if the child is 10 years old, before puberty, the child is essentially just a child. So when it gets to the point of puberty, a lot of things, very interesting things begin to happen. The body is changing, even the mind is changing, the way they think is changing. And of course, the greatest worry for most parents when their children are attaining puberty is that, well, since they are becoming sexually mature, there is that possibility that their interest in health related is become heightened. So you have a child who probably the first 10 years or thereabout life never interested in anything sex. The child begins to pay attention to sexual content, especially in our time where there is you virtually go a day without, or go through 2-3 scrolls on Instagram or social media without saying something that is highly sexualized. So these are some of the issues, and I think that video you reference is timely because people need to start paying attention to this particular trend that we are seeing.
All right, thank you very much for that beautiful explanation right there. And talking about the sexual aspect, I think we'll come to that later, because I'm really, really interested in the age dropping factor. What's really causing those age dropping factor? But before you answer that for us, let's quickly play the video I saw on Instagram that made me, message you to say, oh, I really think you need to be on the program this morning.
increase from 0.6 to 1.4% was noted in girls who started menses before age 9, while an increase from 8.6 to 15.5% was noted in girls who started before age 11. So, what exactly is going on? Okay, so what we know is that over the last century, the average age of menstruation has dropped by about 3 years globally, with experts linking that drop to problems with nutrition, obesity, and exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals found in plastics, food, and the environment. Now, in case you are wondering, this is a major problem we have in our hands, because you see, this early onset of puberty is actually associated with higher risks of health and social problems like depression, low self-esteem, sexualization and abuse, or even early pregnancy, plus a higher risk of cancer in later life. We basically have 9-year-olds with hips, hormones and periods who are still playing with teddy bears and watching cartoons. So we actually have a lot of work to do in ensuring that our young girls get proper and timely education on how their bodies are changing, providing them access to therapy and other necessary support they may need. May God help us.
All right, you've just seen the video I saw, and that video was quite shocking because during our when I was a little bit younger, much younger, obviously, people actually see their period as of the age of 9, 10, which is not really, it was not even common. It was very rare phenomenon for you to see somebody that started their period at the age of 9 or 10 years old. During that time, it was more of, 13, 14 years old before you can see your period. And I understand why you said you need a special connection to be able to see your period early when the years were kind of back those days. But now in 2025, it seems like the statistics are changed, and that is why we needed a medical doctor in the house this morning for us to be able to talk about this issue. And you mentioned the issues of nutrition, you mentioned obesity. We've spoken about obesity on the program before, we've spoken about diet on the program, and you also mentioned about a chemical reaction, and I don't want to say the name so I don't mispronounce it. And you also mentioned plastic food, which is very common these days. Everybody buy food in plastic. In fact, people microwave food in plastic. Gone are those days that microwave wasn't really a thing that we use in Nigeria, but right now microwave is almost everything. Even when you want to go and buy food at a restaurant, they microwave your food for you, and it is inside plastic. And our children eat that food. And so how does this relate to the issue of age dropping in puberty, to be precise?
Okay, so like I mentioned in the video, agreeing a drop of about 3 years, last century in the age of puberty. Before now, for girls, it used to be age between 8 and age 13, 14. Now, it's important that this clarification. When we say puberty is not just a thing. Usually, there are a series of events, biological changes or body changes that route the onset of puberty. So for girls, for example, what we call telarchy is the onset of breast bud, and the lady or the girls that develop breast buds, right? That is what telarchy. And that is the first phase of puberty. Now, when we say age 8 to age 13 for girls, telarchy typically starts around age 8. It doesn't mean that it must start around 8, but it happens at age 8, it becomes a case of precocious puberty or early puberty. Now, looked at the video, my emphasis even on menses. So, all things being equal, it's unusual for this to even be happening below age 10. All right, because let's even as the lady starts telarchy with the sprouting of breast buds at 8. We expect that in another 3 years' time, menses should start. But what we're seeing is a case where the breasts are burdened before age 8, and then menses starting before age 10. And globally speaking, we are seeing trend or the average age is dropping. Similarly, we are also seeing the same voice. It's just the effect is a lot more felt in girls. So girls are are the significant voice as well, but it's a lot more pronounced in girls. So girls who were previously having their menses an average 13, we are now seeing them having their menses at age 9, 10 thereabout. Okay. Now this is important. The reason it is important is because, of course, with industrialization, more people are taking to Western lifestyles. We are seeing a rise in cases of obesity, not just obesity, childhood obesity. So we are seeing children who are even have obesity, and of course, by they are getting to 7, 8 thereabout, obesity, there is a mechanism that ends it. But essentially is that obesity, childhood obesity, is one of the factors. Now, what are the factors? This is, take the Western lifestyle. We are too much junks. We are eating too. In fact, there was a time I was addressing a group of mothers because there is this for them to want to start feeding their babies sugar, giving the baby put sugar in and stuff like that. We are to a very large extent taken to a lifestyle that will produce the children to gain things like which eventually increases their risk of developing type 2 diabetes and other health problems. The culprit here is diet. Diet has a link to obesity. Obesity also has a link to early puberty we are seeing. Now, something else that I also mentioned is that there is a between a hormone called melatonin and puberty. Melatonin is the sleep hormone. All right. So by the time you are awake during the day, there is a melatonin. By the time it's getting to night, melatonin is secreted. That's why most people sleep during the night, because of melatonin. All right. What we are seeing is that people who use a lot, who use gadgets, they are exposed to blue light. A lot tend to witness a drop in melatonin. And what we know is that a drop of production in melatonin is associated with an increased onset, an increased earlier set of puberty. So there are a lot of in medicine we could use a language called Victoria. Means is that there are a combination of factors. There is diet, there is obesity, there is exposure to chemicals called endocrine disrupting. Then there is the role of gadgets. Overexposure to gadgets or blue also has a role to play in that effect. Now, having said that, there are some children, girls or boys, whose early onset of puberty is not linked or associated to any of the things I've mentioned before. Those ones is just due to maybe genetics. If you, for example, you come from a family where people attain puberty a lot earlier, you also are likely to experience that early onset of puberty. But this has always been the case until recently. We are seeing now the numbers is scary. Mentioned in that video that onset menarche before has seen an increase by up to an increase of about from 0.6 to about 1.4, and then for another age group in girls we are seeing an increase from 8.6 to about 15.5%. So these are very troubling statistics that we are slate.
Thank you very much. And I would quickly like to add something to what you just said. I remember the first time I got my menstrual cycle. My mom told me that during their time, most women attain puberty at around 15, 17 years. Some people don't even see their period at around 17 years. Like herself, she had her first period at around 16 going on 17. While I had mine at around 12 going on 13, which we've understood the fact that yes, during some years back, these are the ages where people attain puberty, while now the statistics has really dropped. So looking at the time of my mom, my time, and this time, so that means we are looking at another posing risk of it dropping low. That's the problem right now, because that's what I'm sensing. If my mom can tell me that during her time it was quite lower, and at my time that I was early, and then now we have issues that children are attaining puberty very early on, and the next few years we may be hearing children of probably like 4 5 saying their menstrual cycle, which I can imagine would be very rare and quite scary for the parents who don't understand what to do. And I'm very happy that you were able to bring this to light, because going through the comment section, a lot of people had a lot to say about this particular issue. Like I said, during my time, people attain puberty, people see their period at the age of 9 years old, and some people would even take their kids to the hospital to check if they were properly okay. Until the doctor will tell you that, okay, yeah, your child can attain puberty at the age of 9. It's quite normal, but it is rare. But now it's like a norm. I've seen a video of a very little girl that have hips. I don't know if you've come across a video of a very little girl, like she can't be more than 7 years old, and she has a full-grown hips of an adult. Even some adults will not have that kind of hip, I'm telling you. So I can understand where the statistic is going and how scary it is. But moving away from that, you mentioned breast cancer, which is something that is quite common in the Nigerian society for women now. That's like one of the cancers that women battle with most now. So you now mentioned that exposure to some of these things can even bring about breast cancer, which we're already dealing with in the society. And then there's another risk, we're already exposed to another risk that can require us to actually undergo breast cancer in Nigeria. So what do we say about that?
Okay, so there are a few things that can, emphasis here is on girls, because this particular trend is much more pronounced in girls. All right, but wow, boys are also having it, but not to the scale seen in girls. Now, when the statistics are clear, when girls start menses earlier than normal, all right, have a higher risk of into menopause early. Right? So again, seeing cases of people attaining menopause barely before age 4, that's premature menopause. So we are beginning to know cases of of premature menopause. Okay, you should understand that there is a risk that if a girl's puberty or menses earlier than expected, she is likely to enter or achieve menopause earlier. There's a problem with that, and that's the fact that the current way of doing things, more girls are tending to go to school hard to acquire lots of degrees. As a consequence, they are postponing childbearing until when they are 30 or when they are 40s. This trend is going to continue, right? That's what the trend says. The implication of that is for such girls who attain their menses earlier, and they decide to delay maybe childbearing until when they are in their late 30s or mid 40s, there is or a risk that they may have difficulty with fertility or childbearing. But in any case, there is a solution to that. There is the option of egg freezing for those who can afford to freeze. They can go ahead and freeze eggs. So that one is not much of a problem. But the issue here is the risks associated with cancer as well as endometrial cancer. Not just breast cancer now, we also have endometrial cancer. There are girls who start earlier than the average age, likely to experience or develop breast cancer and endometrial cancer in later life. And that's a huge, of course, that's a long problem. Have the short or immediate problem of these girls getting lies or being sexual predation, right? So that's that area that should be we should pay a lot of attention to, particularly in practically every 10 has access to a smartphone, and they view contents that are sexualized or heavy, no, except contents that also predispose them to being easy prey for sexual prey. So these issues are very serious issues, and to govern authorities to begin to pay attention to these issues. We have something major on our hands.
Thank you very much. You spoke briefly about the use of the screen time that we give children nowadays. Parents are very used to, the new parents of today are used to giving their kids screen time right from even when they were like, let's say 3 months old. They start putting their their children on screen time. Statistics also have shown that children put on screen time below the age of 3 can have a little bit of attachment to that screen time. And you mentioned that a case of the condition called melatonin that can reduce how effective you sleep. And sleeping is very, very important. It can distort our mental health and stuff like that. But sometimes the education system now requires some children to actually be on screen time, but I would say maybe monitored screen time for what they need to do at that particular time. So I want to know the time allocation that you think is recommended for your kid to be on screen time for, and when do you start putting your child on screen time?
Okay, so it's all screen time as for children, right? And I think that's a very beautiful question. So it's not just that it will even disrupt their sleep, and it's much more serious than that. We are beginning to see a rise in cases of ADHD, all right, attention deficit hyperactivity, all right. We are seeing rises, autism and the likes. Now, research has been able to link the increase in the occurrence of ADHD alone as a catchphrase, for the video. The idea or the exercise is pretty simple. Children who get exposed to stimulating content like melon and others, right, from the very usually before age 2, they have risks of developing problems like ADHD and others. That is what the research has. Now, I'm not sure I remember the exact specific timeline, but here is for your child to and you now start doing, you should time, I think it's about, is it 2 hours, more than 2 hours or less than that? I'm not so sure. I have that. This number is, let's say 2 hours, I'm not too sure, I think it's, let's say if it was, that's a lot of time for a child of 3 years old to be on the screen playing games and doing that. Visually stimulating visually stimulating thing can affect the brain's development. In fact, it can get so bad that one child is on that game, you come into the presence of the child will not notice you. Sometimes you try to call the child to probably attend to something, the child will not notice you. That is how destructive that thing can be in the long run. All right. Of course, even for those that may not even have problems with autism, there is this thing about attention. So we are seeing more and more children who are patient to want to pay attention. Probably you are teaching them something, need to be patient to get to understand properly. And you see that their attention span is very, very short. Once you start dragging the whole thing, they are out and they want to go and do something else. Okay. These are issues that overexposure to gadgets, to phones, tablets, and the likes, are bringing to the fore.
Thank you so much for buttressing a little bit about that. Even though these are issues that may not directly relate to the early stage of puberty that we're talking about, but these are issues also that we need to actually look into and talk about a little bit. And before we go on the show, I want to talk about the sexual aspect. You spoke briefly about sexual predators, how this can pose risk to female children. Even male children are not left out in this, because I think male children don't get enough attention when it comes to sexual predators. They don't give them that attention. The attention only focuses mostly on female children. So you spoke a little bit about the sexual aspect of early puberty, how children emotional change occurs, and also the hormonal issues starts to occur, and then they start growing interest in sexual related issues. Most especially the fact that our social media these days are not filtered, and like we said earlier before we move to this question, screen time are not limited now. Most children compared to the olden times have access to phones, and they can easily search things on the phone and get whatever they want get done. So I wanted to speak a little bit about the sexual aspect through emotional and hormonal changes, and also the health, mental health related to this issue.
Okay, let me mention before to answering this particular question is that there is now a link between use of gadget or exposure to blue light and early onset of puberty. Remember, I mentioned melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone or the chemical that regulates when we sleep and when we are awake. Now, children usually have very high levels of melatonin. So what we see is before the onset of puberty, there is a drop in the level of melatonin. So a drop or a reduction in melatonin levels sometimes coincides with the onset of puberty. So what we are now saying, or what we are saying, is that children who use gadgets, especially before puberty, heavy use of gadgets or heavy to blue light, they tend to witness the melatonin a lot faster. And remember, I mentioned that drop or a reduction in melatonin oftentimes coincides with the onset of puberty. So the more they are using gadgets, the more they are exposing themselves to blue light, the earlier that reduction in melatonin will happen, and earlier they are likely to experience puberty. So there's a link now between early puberty and heavy use of phones or other gadgets. So that's that about now. To the tech aspect of things, I mean, you can even start from the biological aspect, which is, which is the problem. I mean, on these boys, they become interested in sexual related content, sexual related topics. They start getting interested in sex. That predisposes them to being advantage of. That was the major point I was emphasizing. We live in a world where people are looking for unsuspecting victims to take advantage of. So it's important. And I mean, the issues, if you really look at it, it's quite bad, because a girl who starts early, coitarchy, that's what we call it, the first instance of sexuality, it starts at an early. She's also more likely to be exposed to HPV, that's the human papillomavirus, and that also increases her risk of developing cervical cancer. There is that part of early onset of sex, which can also dispose her to STIs and even viruses that may increase her risk of developing cancer in future. There is that. Then there is also the mental or the emotional aspect of things. Just remember that these are still children, so to speak. And by the average girl or boy, the brain, the frontal part of the brain, that how low, that is responsible for decision making, for thinking, for logic, is not fully developed until around age 23 to 25. In fact, it happens much earlier for girls, for guys. Guys, sometimes it can like 28 or even much faster in ladies, 23, 25, it gets fully developed. That is why I say you should not rush to get married when your brain is not even yet fully developed. Imagine that even 20-year-old, there are people who believe that maybe that age is still pretty young. You should give yourself a bit of time. And 10-year-old who are, physical, and they are getting exposed to sexual content, or they have even started experiencing sexual pleasure. That's a big problem. They are going to get confused. And emotional wave could be experience issues like depression or low self-esteem. All right. Even in the past, girls who started having breasts earlier than their peers, so starting their menses, they struggled with issues of body. They call it this thing now, positivity or negativity rather. They had
Yeah, body
issues with
positivity.
self-esteem. Issues with self-esteem, and it was strong enough to their mental health. Imagine a 10-year-old girl passing by and there are grown-up boys who are, catcalling her or trying to woo her. It's quite damaging to their psyche. So there is a mental aspect of things as well that we need to pay attention to. And it's almost very peculiar to us that we pay attention to have to do with health. All right. We don't pay enough attention to the mental aspect of things. Oftentimes, just that the child or the girl child might be pregnant, but there's something happening to this girl's mind. You are not paying attention. So the need for therapy becomes necessary. Right. Girls who may experience early onset of puberty or body changes need some degree of therapy to make them understand that the changes just make them understand what their kids are going through and how they can navigate that, because it's a very, very delicate. And if it's not well managed, you can have adults who are not psychologically balanced, who have issues, depression, social anxiety, and the like. So it's a problem, and I'm happy that your platform is the initiative to this discussion.
Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning, and I really enjoyed myself talking about this thing and also learning a little bit about this. Even though I'm not a doctor, I would spread the word and also talk to my younger ones and people that I know about it. And as for you watching the program, you actually need to share this particular program and also talk to people regarding it. For me, I feel like when it comes to educational system, this really needs to talk about more extensively than just what they taught us about puberty. That is not just all what puberty is about, or it has actually changed from what we know compared to now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for Healthy Living on the show, Dr. Damien Ava. Thank you so much for answering our call, and also thank you for educating us on the show. I would like to let you go now so that we can round up the show, because they're already signaling to me, at the in the studio.
Thank you for this.
Thank you. So that's how we will be taking this morning on elder living, and we've just spoken a little bit about puberty, and we spoke extensively when it comes to the mental health issue, when it comes to the sexual aspect, the cancerous disease we can get from it, and the sexually transmitted disease our kids can get from this, and how the age range has been dropping for the past years, and we really need to talk to our children about it and work this journey with them so we can produce a better adult in the society. Thank you so much for joining the program today. We'll be rounding up this session right now because we need to go and also come back to re-strategize about a new topic we'll be discussing on elder living. Thank you so much for joining me for the program. I hope you learned one or two from Dr. Damien Ava. Thank you so much. I'm Kikelamo Ajibola, and you've just watched Elder Living on ConsumerHallaTV. Good afternoon and welcome to News at 2 on ConsumerHallaTV. I'm Kikelamo Ajibola. Let's get straight into the news this afternoon. Airtel Africa has entered a multi-year, multi-million-dollar partnership with Xtelify, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bharti Airtel, to deploy a cutting-edge AI-powered software platform aimed at simplifying telecom operations and improving customer experience across its 14 African markets. Through the deal, Airtel Africa will deploy the Xtelify data engine and Xtelify work platforms to empower its 150,000 field agents with deep market insights and enable micro-targeted strategies. The technology will support critical functions and fraud prevention, enhancing overall customer protection. Group Chief Information Officer at Airtel Africa, Jacques Bakuzan, said this partnership marks a transformative leap in our mission to be Africa's digital future. By harnessing Airtel's AI platforms that have proven scale in India, we are simplifying operations and accelerating personalized experiences across our 14 African markets. And now the Lagos state government has appealed to residents to remain calm as intense rainfall is expected to batter the state for 12 hours. The Commissioner for Environmental and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, in a statement issued yesterday, assured that infrastructure is in place to mitigate the impact of flash flooding, noting that a fresh weather advisory from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has forecast more heavy rainfall and thunderstorms over the next 3 days. Tokunbo Wahab explained further that while the state's drainage systems are resilient, the volume of runoff from the ongoing downpour may overwhelm some major collectors, leading to flash floods in certain areas. He attributed the situation to Lagos' geographical peculiarity as a coastal city combined with the effect of climate change. The commissioner advised parents and guardians to be extra vigilant during the holiday season, warning them to be cautious of children playing in the rain or swimming in flood waters. Moving away from that now to the African Export-Import Bank has announced the signing of a $1.35 billion financing facility in favor of Dangote Industries Limited. In a statement on the bank's website on Sunday over the weekend, Afreximbank stated that the facility is part of a larger $4 billion syndicated financing arrangement for Dangote Industries Limited, Africa's largest industrial conglomerate. The statement said the Afreximbank acted as a mandated lead arranger for the syndication, and this financing is one of the largest syndicated loans in recent African financial markets. Will refinance capital expended on constructing the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Complex, the biggest single train refinery in the world with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. And now, in a strategic shift, Novo Bank has announced plans to change its operating license from that of a national commercial bank to a regional commercial bank. A statement from the management of the bank stated that this move is aimed at optimizing operational efficiency and deepening its impact within the market. The management of the bank noted that this policy shift aligns with a long-term vision to consolidate its strengths, streamline its services, and deploy capital more effectively within targeted regions without compromising its commitment to innovation, customer satisfaction, and sustainable growth. To achieve this repositioning, Novo Bank pointed out that it has applied it to the Central Bank of Nigeria to recategorize its operating license from a national to a regional commercial banking license. Novo's acting managing director, chief executive officer, Mrs. Chinwe Ulogalu, explained that following the CBN revised recapitalization directive in March 2024, the bank reviewed its growth trajectory and capital utilization strategy. And now 8 special agro-industrial processing zones have been completed by the African Development Bank and its partners in Nigeria under phase 1, while 28 more are in the pipeline across the country. Senior Special Advisor to the AFDB Bank, Prof. Banji Oyelaran Oyeyinka, disclosed this over the weekend at the groundbreaking of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone in Ijayi, Akinleye, local government area of Oyo State. He further revealed that the SAPZ initiative had been expanded to 27 sites across 11 African countries, emphasizing its continental reach. Let's move away from that now. Despite the OPEC Plus, a group comprising non-members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, agreed on Sunday to raise oil production by 547,000 barrels per day in September, and the forward said that the pound price of petrol may hit 900 naira per litre this week if the price of crude oil continues to over around $70 per barrel. Meanwhile, throughout the weekend, it was observed by newsmen that the January prices remained high, but filling stations did not rush to make any major meter adjustment. For instance, according to the report, newsman says that the Matrix filling station on Kara along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Saturday displayed 910 naira on its price board, and on Sunday, the Rain Oil filling station in Ibafu sold the product at 900 naira per litre. Following this announcement, marketers said the filling station changing prices might have got new suppliers at the latest prices, adding that everything would be cleared this week. Now let's move to the north now, where BUA Cement PLC has flagged off a 6-month intensive vocational training program for 60 youth from Wamako local government area of Sokoto State. In a major boost to youth empowerment and local capacity building, the initiative is aimed for young men and women from the company's host communities and also focused on training participants in the operation of heavy-duty earth-moving equipment, a highly sought-after skill in the cement, mining and construction sectors. The managing director of BUA Cement, Yusuf Binji, represented by Bashir Aminu, while speaking at the official launch, said the training was designed to tackle the persistent challenge of skills shortage among local job seekers. He also noted that to support the participants throughout the program, BUA Cement will provide each trainee with a monthly stipend of 150,000 naira, underscoring the company's commitment to both skill acquisition and welfare. However, the company's director of human resources, Abdul Rashid Bode, was also spotted at the event, and he urged the beneficiaries to demonstrate discipline, dedication, and drive during the training. And now the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian has called for a coordinated strategic approach to make Nigeria